Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video as we're on day I don't know how many of waiting for the next balance patch in Hearthstone. I thought it'd be a lot of fun to take a look at cards in Hearthstone like a Master of Disguise that used to give a friendly minion stealth permanently and then was nerfed that it was just for one turn, outright killing the card. And I wanted to go through some recent examples and some old examples of Hearthstone cards that got killed by a nerf. Feel free to share which ones I missed in the comments below. And if you enjoy this content and you feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit the sub button down below. Give the video a like, it helps the channel out a ton. It is important to note though that nerfs don't necessarily kill cards. Nerfs sometimes don't even really affect the play rate like a spreading plague, which used to be 5 mana, believe it or not. But again, we're gonna focus on the nerfs that basically the card disappeared from ladder. And starting off with Rogue, since it's the topic of the town lately with nerfs, Leeching Poison. This used to be a 2 mana spell that gave your weapon lifesteal, not this turn, permanently, and when you put it on a Kingsbane, that weapon never went away, and it was like infinite lifesteal. It was degenerate, people hated it, and I loved it. I played it a lot. I was a degen. I secretly want this reverted, but in no way should it ever be. It's so degenerate. But yes, this was an insane card and turned into one completely useless one. It's just one lifesteal swing, just ain't worth it whatsoever. A more recent nerf that kind of killed the card is a card I also really liked. I really like these degenerate cards. What is wrong with me? Spitelash Siren is a 5 mana 2/6 after you play a Naga, refresh 2 mana crystals, then switch to spell. So you can alternate between Naga and spells, cheat a bunch of mana, do a bunch of degenerate stuff, and it was quite fun, but it was a little too good as it was originally 4 mana in a 2/5, but just that 1 mana made that deck, it was like tier 2 at the time. They nerfed a bunch of other stuff. They worried it'd be oppressive. It went from being like a tier 2 style of deck to I haven't seen Spitelash outside of like the first week after it got nerfed, and it was so fun to play, but again, kind of a little bit toxic. And you know what? Fun doesn't outvalue balance at the end of the day, and I still understand it. I just kind of miss it at 4. Before I even played Hearthstone back like Classic and Next Rammus, Starving Buzzard was a 2 mana 2/1. It's been reverted since, but this card, whenever you summon a beast, draw a card, was so good with cards like Unleash the Hounds and things like that. It got nerfed, but it didn't just get nerfed. This is how they used to kill cards back in the day. It went from a 2 mana 2/1 to a 5 mana 3/2, becoming one of the worst cards like ever in Hearthstone. When they wanted to kill a card back in the day, they outright murdered it, although it's not the most murdered card, and we'll wait till number 1 to go over that. And you probably saw the thumbnail, so spoiler alert on that, but still, absolutely destroyed, and now at 2 mana sees relevant play in WoW to this day. Sorcerer's Apprentice used to be 2 mana like this time last year, I'm pretty sure, and she survived a long time of cheating insane amount of mana, whether it was a Cyclone Mage, a Quest Mage, just going infinite with Antonidas. Apprentice did it all, and I have played this card. I can't count how many times. It's one of my favorite cards, but I was also one of the ones that pushed the most for it to get nerfed because yeah, at 2 mana, she just broke the game, and at 4, she's basically irrelevant. It's too expensive, you can't play it, but you can still do its effect, so you can kind of do that if you want to meme. It's just not competitive anymore, so she still kind of keeps the heart of the card, which is what they went for, and I wonder if Radiant Elemental will ever hit that, because it kind of does the same thing right now with Sisters Falna, and that could be a problem. Or they just put it out of the core set in April and, you know, wipe their hands clean of it all. Next, I'm going to double dip on here because, well, Warrior recently had 2 cards effectively removed from the collection. Entitled Revenant, this got nerfed not that long ago to basically only give you 5 armor instead of 8. It's been reverted since, still doesn't see play because the game has evolved since then, but it was outright destroyed, and it was a card I don't know if I had seen a single person mention should get nerfed. And in the same vein, Shield Shatter, the same patch went from deal 5 damage to all minions to 4, and that just wiped Warrior off the face of the Hearthstone spectrum at the time. It was gone. They reverted both since then, and Warrior's still basically gone. So you can see how that was a little bit possibly misguided at the time, to the fact that even with it reverted since, they still haven't even caught up to the pack. And Man Warrior's been kind of behind a lot of these ones. So again, we'll talk about the other one later. Again, you already know what it is, but it's just too good. We gotta leave it for last. Fiery War Axe went from 2 mana, auto-included, was Fiery Wind Axe. It was such a good card. But with the emergence of Pirate Warrior and Mean Streets of Gadgetzin, it just became too good, and control decks had to basically pay the sins for Pirate Warrior, and War Axe has been 3 mana ever since, despite the fact that, like, every class has a 3 mana 3/2 weapon with upside, including Warrior with Knight's Defender, which gained durability if you had Taunt. So, like, it even was worse than a Warrior card, but it was only in Wild at the time, so I guess it didn't matter, but it's just ridiculous. And yeah, War Axe just not that good anymore, and it just makes me sad. It makes me sad for such an iconic card, but it did have its time, like, you know, good old Prince Renathon, and maybe, just maybe, Shadow Step. Wouldn't that be something? Ancient of Lore, which again, since reverted, but it's nerfed. This card was so good back in the day, just to put in perspective, like card draw is these days in Hearthstone. This card was dominant. It was great. 7 mana 5/5, so bad stats, but you got to choose one, draw 2 cards, 2 for 7 mana, or restore 5 health, and that was so good. It got nerfed to 1 card. It got nerfed to 1 card, killing the card, but it was like a justified nerf at the time. It totally made sense. That is how much the game has evolved. It's been like 7 or 8 years since that card got nerfed. Yeah, imagine spending 7 mana to draw 2 cards these days. It's crazy. It killed the card, and again, it's been reverted since and is still completely useless to this day. A recent example of how 1 mana can pretty much kill a card is Efficient Octobot, a rogue minion who used to be 2 mana and has a 1/4 stat line frenzy. Reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1, and combining this with Field Contact and Garrote and all that shenanigans at the time was absolutely busted. Basically Emperor Thorson you could run 2 of for 2 mana, and it was crazy. And at 3, that 1 mana made all the difference in the world, because there's just better stuff to do in Rogue, as there always is. Rogue always has better stuff, and yeah, since it's gone to 3, basically hasn't seen play, and I'll be curious to see if they revert it. As mentioned yesterday, I hope they don't, but would not surprised to see it happen, and it might be okay. I like to play it a little bit safer, okay? And we can't talk about killing a card with a nerf without bringing up Mind Render Elusia. Originally 2 mana, you would replace your hand and deck with your opponents until the end of turn. You literally got to take their cards and you got to play them, throw them away, whatever you wanted to do with them. And it was like the ultimate toxic disruption card. So much it went from 2 to 3 mana, and then to this, where it no longer even has an effect. You just get a copy of their hand. It actually does see a tiny bit of play. You do see it once in a while, but let's be real. It basically killed the card, and I know there's priest people out there that wish it didn't, but I think the majority of us were happy to see the witch burn, and I never want to see her come back. And of course, lastly, we gotta go with the card that basically coined the phrase of killing a card with a nerf, where you just warsong the card, Warsong Commander. Currently in the game, whenever you summon another minion, give it rush. However, when it came out, it was whenever you summon a minion with 3 or less attack, give it charge. And then Grim Patron was made. You could go wide with all these whirlwind effects. You could play a Frothing Berserker and OTK your opponent. It was one of the most skill intensive decks that saw the highest win rates you'll ever see for a deck when played perfectly compared to anything else. The best players won the game when they played that deck, so it was nerfed pretty quickly. And also, this has just been a problematic card. In beta, it gave any minion charge, so you saw like Molten Giants get charge and all of that, and it got to the point where they gave it the Warsong treatment of your charged minions have +1 attack, completely killing the flavor of the card, completely killing the card. You might as well just played a Raid Leader, although that was a 2/2 at the time, so slightly worse, but regardless, absolutely killed the card. And even in its current version, giving means rush doesn't really see much play, but it's a good arena pick. And the other version absolutely wasn't. So let me know in the comments below, what nerfs do you think absolutely killed cards? Maybe you disagree with it. Some of these cards are incredible, and you'll let me know about it. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.